If you're new to this channel, my name's Chike, and I've been lifting consistently for roughly 10 years, pretty much my entire life now. And as a result, naturally, I became pretty damn aesthetic. Like, I have a pretty aesthetic body. And this channel is aimed to compiling all the information that I gained in a freaking decade of my life so that I can share with you and help you achieve the exact same result in a no bullshit simplified manner. So I want to talk about, the 1% aesthetic builder. What is the autistic trait that like the aesthetic guys that look really good, guys like myself, have that average lifters don't? Because there's an autistic trait that they have that average lifters don't. And if you have this trait, you're eventually going to be that guy. It may take you 5, 6 years, but you're gonna eventually be that guy. Guys that look like Broly Gaines, guys that look like these influencers out here, the ones that aren't taking steroids. So I remember back, it was 3 or 4 years ago, back when I was still in college. And I went to like my home gym, the gym that was right down the street from me was an Anytime Fitness. And I remember getting there and, I'm lifting in the gym. And this big guy comes up to me. Like this guy is like a big dude. Obviously, like he's way stronger than me. Way stronger than me. I could see a big old white dude. And he was like, "Bro, your physique looks sick." I'm like, "Thanks. I mean, you look pretty good too." He's like, "No, you look really great." And this guy's like an older guy, white hair and everything. And he was just talking to me. He was like, "Yeah, you could compete in like natural bodybuilding and lifting in the future. Like I could see you. You look like you should compete," which I think is like a pretty good compliment. And at that moment I realized most people actually care about aesthetics. Most people actually care about looking good. Most adults, people like yourself, actually care about having the nice looking physique more than they do about strength. So fast forward 3 or 4 years now, today, I'm in my office here working on my niche, working on this course, working on everything that I have going on. Top link in the description, by the way, that's my course. And just pondering, how can I help you become aesthetic? What is the real advice to getting aesthetic like me? What did I actually do? What's the real advice, the actual truth behind why it is that I look the way I look? No bullshit sciencey answer. I'm not gonna give you a fucking sciencey answer. What's the actual reason? And then it dawned on me. Other guys prioritized recovery. Other guys prioritized eating. I prioritized lifting. So let me explain. Again, 3 or 4 years ago, back when I was doing my HVAC job, I worked doing heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. My nutrition was actually pretty ass. I thought about it. My nutrition was actually pretty bad. It wasn't unhealthy. I wasn't eating bad food, but I was not eating enough. I was not eating 3 meals a day. I remember to this day, I would wake up just in time for work. Not just in time for work, but like I wake up without having enough time to get breakfast, to make breakfast, to cook 4 eggs and meat, like I say you should do. I'll go to Quick Trip. All right, I'll go to Quick Trip. I get me a breakfast burrito, the little tiny ones with the eggs and the brisket, or the eggs and the beef or the sausage, and then a black coffee. And that was pretty much what I could afford. That was pretty much like what I could afford at the time. And I was doing okay. That was like maybe 400 calories in the morning. That was not enough for me to get in the surplus that I needed to gain strength. And then I would go and do my runs. Like I would go and do my PMs, or I'd ride with another tech. Some days we didn't even get to stop for breakfast. We'd had to go straight to the site. I drink a Celsius or something maybe instead of a coffee. I'd have a really small breakfast. And then maybe like 4 hours later, if it was a decent day, wasn't too bad, around 12, maybe 1, we'd stop and take lunch. And I would always pack my lunch because I would make my lunches the night before. Guess what my lunch was? It was jasmine rice, about a cup of jasmine rice cooked, two chicken breasts, not two chicken breasts, two chicken legs actually, and maybe some Brussels sprouts and some greens. Because my mindset was, oh, I just need to hit all the food groups and I just need to eat. And then it'd always be like the salt. I'd always get the salt and pepper packets, and then some random sauce from like Quick Trip, some random like honey mustard or some shit like that. I remember those days I'd eat that shit. Sometimes my coworkers would be complaining because the Tupperware would like stink because of like kind of like the meat sitting in the sun smell. But I'd still eat it. Pause. But that was pretty much my lunch. And there were occasional times where like I would actually like try to get more food in by getting Italian bread sandwiches, and there was a time when like I made sandwiches and whatnot. Some days I'd have like two sandwiches, but this was not enough. It was not enough to actually get me to grow. Then I'd come home for dinner, and you know what I would eat for dinner? The same thing. I would eat the exact same thing because that's what I cooked. That's just what I had. But you know what? I never skipped the gym. I didn't really get stronger. I didn't recover that well, but I never skipped the gym. Of course, like I would get like protein. I had protein shakes. I drink protein shakes all the time, but I never got that much stronger. But I always constantly hit the gym. Another thing I'm gonna tell you is like when, even when I was in university, I was a full-time student and I was working a part-time job. I was working at Pizza Hut 5 days a week doing delivery, made tips, a lot of tips. And it was like 5 to 11 pretty much every day. I mean, like 4 days a week sometimes just so I could study. And they had a gym on campus. And there'd be days where like I didn't get breakfast. Sometimes I didn't get lunch. I would just, some days I would just eat what was at Pizza Hut. Some days I would just like, I'd be able to get lunch at the defect there, at the dining facility there. But like, I didn't really know the importance of getting excess glycogen and like nutrition like I do now. I didn't really know that stuff that well. I really didn't. And I would be high. I would be high very often. And if you're a real like smoker, if you're like a real weed smoker, you'll understand that when you smoke weed, there comes a point when you actually like you don't get hungry. You don't get hungry. I would be in this state of mind and I would still go to the gym. I would still lift in the gym. I would still go. And I got to the point where I was doing incline and I was able to do incline press with the 45 and the 25 for a 4 reps incline. I remember I had a video of it up on my Instagram, but it's deleted now. I had like this fucking mask on and shit. It was so weird. If you know me, you know what I'm talking about. And I would still get compliments on my physique. My nutrition wasn't that optimal, wasn't that great, but I lifted. And that's when today it dawned on me. I prioritized lifting. Others, average lifters, prioritize eating. They prioritize nutrition. People who are really aesthetic and are like the top, like 1%, 10% good looking physiques, they will lift no matter their nutritional state. Like you have this mindset where like you're willing to just like autistically live. Like it becomes like a nuanced part of life. It's just this is just who I am. I just live. I wasn't people who the autistic trait is like you don't lift to even improve. You just lift because you lift. Isn't that crazy? I wasn't even lifting. Like I went to the gym because I wanted to do more weight, but like my intention wasn't even I'm not even saying this is healthy. My intention wasn't even to improve. It was just to lift weight. It was just to go to the gym. It was just to go hard. Of course, I wasn't starving. I wasn't malnourished. And you're not going to be malnourished too. I'm not saying starve, but the practical advice is this. If you train consistently without perfect recovery, you're not going to have the most optimal growth for your muscles. Period. I mean, yeah, you can get protein in. I got a lot of protein because I was eating chicken, protein shakes and stuff like that, but I didn't have the most optimal recovery because I didn't really have that much food in the first place. Even growing up, like I wasn't eating that much in general, but I always still forced my muscles I would always damage my muscles. I would always force them to grow. I'd always like still be in the gym doing workouts. What do you think happens when you're forcing your muscles to grow, when you're damaging your muscles, but the recovery isn't perfect? You won't get that much stronger. You won't get as strong as you thought you could. I mean, the protein that you have in your body that it scavenges for will still trigger muscle protein synthesis and will still repair your muscles. You will see changes in your body. You will grow a little bit as long as at least you're eating in maintenance, which of course, you're eating in maintenance as long as you're not hungry, but depending on your stress levels. But your lean mass production rises slowly, but your fat mass actually decreases. And this is what I actually learned. This is what I realized. Your aesthetics your build, your physique is not just about having big muscles. It's not about that. It's about having a large ratio gap between your fat mass and your lean mass. That's the point. It's about having proportionally way more lean mass than you have fat mass. If you're the skinny guy, you're not aesthetic because you don't have a whole lot of lean mass or a lot of fat mass. If you're the fat guy, you may have a lot of lean mass, but you still have a lot of fat mass. The golden point is being the guy who has at least a little bit above average lean mass, but having a very low amount of fat mass. And that's what my diet caused me to do. Now I actually eat 3 meals a day. I'm always in a surplus. I'm always on a bulk. I'm always getting fucking stronger. I have a little bit more fat on my body than I did in my younger years. But before the 10 years of me lifting with not perfect nutrition, but still clean food caused me to slowly produce lean mass over such a long period of time while my fat mass didn't have a chance in hell to build on my body. And that's the point. If you think about it, you're probably an adult, you're a full time student, you work, you go to college. All you want is to just have a good body. You probably just want bigger chest, bigger biceps, and look bigger and stronger. Yes, you do have to bulk and get to that point. But what happens is you see that you don't have perfect nutrition, and then you stop going to the gym because you see that your nutrition isn't optimal. Meanwhile, guys like me who didn't have optimal nutrition, who probably ate just like you, kept going to the gym and actually ended up looking way better than you. Think about like the warrior. It's like warriors back in like Greco-Roman era, right? Or like the Athenian era or some shit like that. Those guys were often starved of food, starved of sex. Even like when you see like a lot of them, meat was like a rare commodity at that time, but they were always training. They were always like just doing some sort of physical exercise, body weight exercise, running. They looked good. If you see the statues and the portraits of them, they had the body that you're looking for, but their nutrition was actually fucking worse than yours. And it's the thing, same thing with people who are just like, who actually have like the 1% aesthetic builder physique. It's because they have the 1% mind. They're the few people in this world that just autistically lift because that's just what we do. I realized it's so simple. It's not the fact that I had all the answers in the beginning. It's just that I prioritized lifting and resistance training because that's just who I was. That's just who I am. You need to be this guy who's willing to just lift. I'm not saying let your nutrition go to shit, but don't let a suboptimal nutrition stop you from actually hitting your goals and like actually hitting the gym. Don't let that stop you from going to the gym and lifting weight, even if you're not even getting that much stronger. Don't stress over mindless eating. Don't stress over having like not getting like the best nutrition. Listen to your body. Sure, if you feel injured or you feel weak or tired, I'm not saying go train, but you should learn to develop this autistic trait to just be a lifter, to just be that guy. The fitness industry will tell you, oh, you have to be like this 10-step program and do all this optimal shit. You have to have the right nutrition, one gram per pound of body weight. Oh, you have to get in your surplus, 10% of your caloric maintenance added so that you can be in a bulk, and don't do more than 3 days a week. Don't do this. Oh, only 3 days a week. Mike Mentor, blah blah blah, all that fucking bullshit to make it fucking complicated. Like if you're at an elite level, sure, but most of you guys are just random fathers, random students, random people who just have who work 9 to 5s 5 days a week, who just want to learn how to look good, and it's not that deep. They like to act like this shit is super complicated. Act like, oh, you got to be super optimal. Jeff Nippert science test tubes. You don't have to do all that shit, bro. Like they act like, and I fell for this too. I fell for the exact same thing too. Like there are times, even though I was making progress, there are times when like I feel like I've plateaued in the gym, and I would go on YouTube and look up all this shit to get better, and then I would implement it, and then it didn't change anything. I felt worse, and it felt like fitness became more friction because I was applying all this stupid advice online, all this crazy shit that was just way too complicated for regular 9 to 5 guys like me, guys who may be active duty college students, people who are a full-time college student and have a part-time job or have 3 fucking kids. Guys like that, it doesn't help guys like us because like we don't have the time or the resources to apply everything online. When in reality, it'd be the simplest advice, just the simplest advice that I could find, just from a peer or someone that I knew, that would just tell me stuff like, yeah, bro, you just gotta eat more. Yeah, bro, you just gotta train, you just gotta force yourself out of this plateau. And it would work. And it would work. They act like this stuff is super complicated, and it's freaking not. You have to just be a warrior. If you want to be aesthetic, you have to train. Train even though you may not be in the optimal position to do it. There's guys like me who are retarded who just went to the gym their whole life and just took care of themselves and just ate decently, that made the progress and the results. And then I go online to find people who look just as good as I do, maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit worse, that have all these empirical science review, all this stuff. I swear, this stuff is just made to confuse us. It's just made to confuse people like you and I, to make us have that scarcity mindset and to making us think that, oh, getting this goal is far more complicated than it is, when it's actually not. The goal, like reaching the goal, is not that complicated. You just need to shut your brain off and just lift. People who have that 1% aesthetic physique, they're just autistic, bro. Like that's it. We just lift, man. That's all you got to do. If you want easy guidance, if you want fitness simplified for you, then this channel is for you. And if you want to check out my course, top link in the description. This simple as that. Guys like us, we don't need fitness to be complicated. We just need to keep it simple. That's it. If you want to learn more, go ahead and click on this video. Goodbye.